Winning is tough. I always said winning is somewhat maybe innate. Maybe it's just something you have. You know, you have the winning gene. My father is German, right? Was German. My uncle was a great professor and scientist and engineer, Dr. John Trump at MIT. Good genes, very good genes, okay? One of the smartest people in the history of MIT in my blood. If you believe in genes, some do, some don't. Believe me, if it's good genes, we believe in genes, right? We're allowed to say it. A lot of it's about the genes, isn't it? Don't you believe? Do we believe in the gene thing? I mean, I do, right? You know, I do. When you have 111 wins, that's in your blood, right? It's got to be in the blood. It's good genes. You have good genes. Good genes. You believe in genes? It's got good genes. These are great women, great men. Frankly, great genes. You have great genes. You have very good genes. Just remember the president. You have great genes. Those genes. Those two young men have the greatest genes anyone's ever had. The best genes I've ever seen. A man named Henry Ford, good bloodlines, good bloodlines. If you believe in that stuff, you got good blood. We have good stuff. We have great genes in this room. We have smart people. A man with really fantastic genes. Got to have like the best genes in the world. Although you had an ex-governor here that had very good genes too. We have his son in the audience, too. You have good genes, you know that, right? You have good genes. Good genes, you have good genes. It's in the genes, it's in the blood, right? It's in the blood.
Would you like to have a 3,000-year bloodline?
I think it would be great. You know, I'm proud to have that German blood. There's no question about it. Great stuff.
Donald Trump is of Rh negative blood type. A self-proclaimed Christian, he's also an initiate that, like the Freemasons and Rosicrucians, subscribe to a lineage based on the heritage of the Knights Templar, who claim descent from High Temple priests of Jerusalem, whose ancestors fled into Europe after the destruction of the temple and introduced Kabbalah into European secret societies, which for a time was regarded as alchemy. This ancient Aryan bloodline goes back to the Magi of Mesopotamia and priests of ancient Egypt, who according to German textbooks up until 1945 were regarded as the true origins of the Nordic people during the Holocene, who eventually migrated north into Europe and Scandinavia. This should also help to explain why Trump uses the lion symbol, as I've already explained about his ancestry, Germanic bloodline, and occult significance he incorporates into his architecture, as well as his personal allegiance to an ancient Kabbalistic network that is misunderstood by many and completely unknown to most.
It goes back to Babylon in the 6th century BC, the development of a tradition that merged the worship of underworld gods with the Babylon history of magic and astrology. And so this is basically what came to be, in the Jewish tradition, came to be known as Kabbalah. Basically, it's a hierarchy of Judaism. And so it's, the early practitioners would present themselves to the world as merely being an interpretation of Judaism, basically as a way of disguising their apostasy from Judaism. And what it's based on is the idea that Solomon had learned magic somehow from, basically some kind of discarded entities, demonic entities of some sort, and that he used that power to build, first of all, that he had a sigil, or the Star of David, or the Star of Solomon, was a 6-pointed star, which he used as a seal on a ring, apparently, to control these demons. And then he used his control over these demons to build the Temple of Solomon. So there is a legitimate Orthodox tradition in Judaism that looks forward to the rebuilding of the temple as part of fulfillment of Bible prophecy with the return of the Messiah. And there's a parallel satanic tradition, occult Kabbalistic tradition, that also aspires to rebuilding of the third temple, but their Messiah is the antichrist. So that's why when you look at a group like the Knights Templar, for example, who are founded again on the idea of this reconstruction of the temple, their place in history was appropriated by the Freemasons, who continued this concept of rebuilding of the temple. So they're called Masons or bricklayers because supposedly they are laying the bricks for the foundations of effectively a new world order, which is to be governed by the expected Messiah. When the lost tribes get scattered, they get scattered to the land of the Medes and all the way into Central Asia, and that's where supposedly they intermarry with the Scythians. They eventually migrate to Europe, where they become Scandinavians and Scots. Scandinavians, descendants of Odin, and the Vikings and the Scots, particularly Ireland, Orkney, which is where the Sinclairs come from, and that's where you get this heritage of Scottish Rite Freemasonry.
The Templars held esoteric beliefs that they descended from the temple priests of Jerusalem, and their ancestors entered Europe as waves of lost tribes after the sacking of the temple for which they are named after. Rex Deus, which means God Kings in Latin, are a group of European aristocratic families that claim ancestry from the bloodlines of the priests of Jerusalem.
Rex Deus are a bloodline that trace their origins back to the 24 high priests of the Temple of Jerusalem, which includes the family of Jesus. And according to Holy Mother the Church, Jesus was single and had no children. But like all Jews of his time, he was obliged by Jewish custom and tradition to marry and procreate, because he was also a rabbi and the heir to the throne of the line of David, so he had to produce an heir.
Wrong. He was not to produce an heir because he is the heir. He was begotten of the Father to inherit all things forever. He is the heir. You do err, my good sir.
One of the most closely guarded secrets in European history is the fact that he founded a bloodline known as the Desposini, which are still extant in Europe today. And descendants of Jesus are all around you, and many of the people who are true descendants of Jesus of Nazareth don't even know it.
Now you got to remember, this is what they believe and what they've convinced generation after generation of as being true. They believe themselves to be the heirs of this world. They've convinced generation after generation that this is in fact true, that they are God's heirs to the throne. So it's important that you just keep in mind that these stories that you see, the Da Vinci Code, so on and so forth, are 100% fables. Get into the Word of God and you will know the truth.
He was Jesus the Nazarene. He was a member of an esoteric cult attached to the Essene order, an initiatory form of spirituality which is still being practiced in secret today. And the Rex Deus families outwardly practice the religion of their place and time, but secretly amongst themselves follow their own path.
Now he's telling you a truth right here. They openly practice the religion of their time, whatever suits them, whatever enables them to gain the trust of the people.
My beautiful Christians, I love you Christians, I'm a Christian.
While inwardly they are ravenous wolves.
And the Rex Deus families outwardly practice the religion of their place and time, but secretly amongst themselves follow their own path. They trace the influence of these families on the development of European culture, and that influence was quite profound, particularly in spiritual matters. They were the families responsible for the founding of the military order of the Knights Templar, and after that was suppressed, several centuries later, they played a seminal role in the foundation of the worldwide fraternity of Freemasonry, which is still running and still extant today. So their influence is all-pervasive. They were still practicing a form of initiatory Judaism which traced its roots back long before the time of Jesus, and its original origins come from Egypt. Because these people acquired power in Europe very, very early on at the time of Charlemagne and are still in positions of power today. And there is a chivalric order which is still running, called the Order of the Fleur de Lis. Membership is by invitation, but to hold office within that order you have to be a member of one of the families of the Rex Deus group. And they cover some very, very powerful people. What their agenda is today, I haven't the faintest idea. But they're still about, and they're still exerting massive influence behind the scenes, all very quietly. And I, for one, would love to know what their agenda is.
As if he doesn't know what the agenda is. Well, look around you. Everything you see, including Donald Trump, that's what the agenda is.
Napoleon, Alexander the Great, Donald Trump. We're all cut from the same cloth.
Winning is tough. I always said winning is somewhat maybe innate. Maybe it's just something you have. You know, you have the winning gene. Good genes, very good genes, okay?
Best genes I've ever seen. It's in the genes, it's in the blood, right? It's in the blood.
Would you like to have a 3,000-year bloodline? Would you like to have a 3,000-year bloodline?
I think it would be great. There's no question about it. Great stuff.
Napoleon, Alexander the Great, Donald Trump. We're all cut from the same cloth.
Not only do the royal families of Europe come from the same bloodline, many world leaders, such as Donald Trump, share genetic affinities with the ancestors of the Knights Templar that, according to esoteric Germanic societies like the Thule and Vril Society, not to mention the Rosicrucians and Freemasons, all trace their lineage back before the advent of the Abrahamic faiths, all the way to the Aryan Magi of Mesopotamia, and before that to the pre-biblical time.
My beautiful Christians, I love you Christians, I'm a Christian.
Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord, and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God,